Dead or Alive wasn't just another fighting game. It was stylish, technical, and fast. A 3D fighter that rewarded precision, timing, and creativity. But over the past few years, the series drifted into the background. The industry moved on, and the fighting game community kind of left Dead or Alive behind. And to be fair, Dead or Alive 6 did set itself up for failure. The game was unfinished, it lost focus, and leaned too heavily on certain gimmicks, and above all, it didn't really know what it wanted to be. Now with the recent passing of Tomonobu Itagaki, players are reflecting on what made Dead or Alive so special. And I think it's time we have a real conversation about why the series deserves another chance. Now hit that like and subscribe button and let's get after it. When you look back at Dead or Alive, particularly 2 through 4, was one of the most unique 3D fighting games ever made. It wasn't trying to copy Tekken or Virtua Fighter. It had its own rhythm, its own philosophy, it had attitude, charisma, and it wasn't afraid to hold anything back. The hold system was revolutionary, a mechanic that let defense become offense and rewarding timing and prediction over button mashing. Its stun game and triangle system created layers of mind games that still feel fresh till this day. And the stage transitions, slamming your opponent off of a ledge or through a wall, made fights feel cinematic and alive long before that was a trend. And graphically, Dead or Alive was always cutting edge. It was a showcase for animation, expression, and detail. It was confident, fast, and flashy, but still deeply technical. That balance is what made Dead or Alive stand out in the first place. But as much as fans loved it, in 2019, the series lost its spark. Dead or Alive 5 had something special, that unapologetic spirit that had been in the series' DNA since the beginning. Even after the original creator stepped away, Yosuke Hayashi and Yohei Shimbori carried that energy forward. And then came Dead or Alive 6 and it felt unsure. It wanted to be taken seriously as an esport title and then tried to tone down the very attitude that made Dead or Alive unique. Where the past Dead or Alive titles embraced its sex appeal, Dead or Alive 6 attempted to market itself as more serious while simultaneously doing the complete opposite. It simplified mechanics to appeal to newcomers, added the break gauge system, and in the process, it watered down what veterans loved. On top of that, the monetization model, the DLC, and the costume prices pushed fans away. Dead or Alive 6 in itself wasn't necessarily a bad game, but it felt like it didn't know what it was or who it was for. And that's what really hurt the franchise, because Dead or Alive thrived when it was confident, when it was bold, and when it didn't care about fitting in. Now that attitude, that unapologetic confidence, that was the series' heartbeat. It was the reason Dead or Alive 5 Last Round thrived even years after its release and is even thriving till this day. The community stuck around not just because of the gameplay, but because Dead or Alive had personality. It celebrated its identity instead of apologizing for it, but once that confidence disappeared, the series lost its edge. And the truth is, that does not have to be the end of the story. Right now, the fighting game community is craving something fresh. Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 have brought massive attention, but there is a massive gap, and I believe that players want a 3D fighter, and especially a 3D fighter with its own identity. Virtua Fighter is making a comeback with Virtua Fighter 6 and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo in the meantime, and that alone shows that the demand is there. People want freedom of movement, they want layered mechanics, and they want mind games. Things that Dead or Alive has always excelled at. And outside the fighting game community, the timing could not be better. Koei Tecmo just proved with Ninja Gaiden 4 that they still can deliver intense, high-quality action gameplay. The skill, the engine, the experience, it's all still there. They just need a reason to bring Dead or Alive back. And let's be real, Ninja Gaiden 4, along with games such as Stellar Blade and Nier Automata, have shown that players do still appreciate beauty, style, and confident character designs. That aesthetic isn't something to shy away from. It's something that can coexist with strong gameplay and storytelling. Dead or Alive doesn't need to hide from that side of itself. It just needs to express it, but with a purpose. We're living in a time where people want games that feel alive again. Games with heart, energy, and personality. And Dead or Alive checks all of those boxes. And this is why I think Dead or Alive deserves another chance. It helped shape 3D fighting games. It inspired players around the world and gave us moments we'll never forget. It didn't fail because it was bad. It just lost sight of what made it special. But its identity can rise again. And if there's one thing we've learned from the DOA community, it's that this series does have a pulse. and all it needs is a spark. So whether you've been here since the beginning or you're just discovering Dead or Alive for the first time, I welcome you, and let's show Koei Tecmo that Dead or Alive isn't dead. It's just waiting for the right moment to fight again, and now is that time for it to strike. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you really liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. I have another video coming out about Dead or Alive and what I think should be in the next game. So like, subscribe, tell me how you feel. Until next time, this is Shred, out.